So Max is going to be presenting at our little fundraising event in about 3 weeks' time, and generally what I was hoping to talk about was how does the average amateur cyclist get the most out of their training, either if they're training on their own or on the other side of the scale if they're training in a group and things are kind of dictated to them, you know, how fast, how far. They may not have full control over that situation. Yep. So can you tell us a little bit about those two situations?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing that we would say, and do a lot of work with cyclists of all levels, one of the roles that I have at the university is as the high performance coordinator for the Invictus Pathway program that we've got. So we've got about 40 ex-military or current serving personnel in that, many of whom are training up as cyclists for selection in the Invictus Games or similar related events like Masters competitions. And I guess with those guys and with most cyclists that I've worked with, apart from the elite ones, is the biggest thing is having a plan. Like, you've got to make sure that even if you're going out for a group ride that's dictated by other people, you've got to know what you would like to get out of the session. So having an idea of, for each session, okay, this is the goal I'm looking to get out of it. Is this just going to be a day where I'm just riding for fun and just going along and ticking the legs over for 4 hours? Or is this a day when I need to be getting some more quality, so some more higher intensity, some more interval-based work? Do I need to be, you know, in a chain gang situation where I'm really going for it for the whole time that I'm out here? Knowing what you want to get out of a session, and then knowing that what I'm going to be doing in this session may or may not reach that limit that I've put on there, or may not reach those goals, and I may have to do a little bit more after or before to make sure that I'm getting that quality out of it, is one of the really, really big things.
After coffee.
Yeah, after coffee. Because it's fine to go out there with any ride that you do if it's dictated to you that it's one where you're struggling to hang on the back or it's a much slower ride. And that's fine, because there's definitely really important physiological adaptations we can get out of any riding that we do. We've just got to know which session is going to tick which boxes, basically. I guess the other thing is, along with that training that you're doing when you're on the bike, whether you're in a group or otherwise, is making sure that you're thinking about all of the other little bits that you can do within your training. So whether that's the nutrition that you'll also hear about on the night, but things like how we can look at things like incorporating resistance training and strength training,
yep.
Other forms of compensatory effects that we can get that will really improve things a lot with less effort than you would think, luckily.
Yep. And people that train solo more than in groups, what sort of advice, in general terms, can you give to those people?
Look, if you've got someone who's training on their own, like I am someone who I ride on my own a lot. I like, you know, open road at my own pace and things like that. And I've had too many people try and crash into the back of me when I'm in a group, so I'll ride on my own quite a bit. Again, look, having a plan for what you want to get out of the session is a really important thing. You need to know what the volume that you need to be doing, the overall intensity, but also particularly when you're riding on your own, because it is something you've got a lot more time to play around with, but you can also sometimes push yourself a bit harder than you need to, is paying a lot of attention to your recovery. It's one of the things that is an area I've focused on a lot with my research, and is something that is overlooked really, really commonly by a lot of people when they're doing their training, particularly at the recreational and amateur level.
Yep.
So paying a lot of attention to what's happening with your physiology, what's happening with how you're feeling for your body overall, how you're responding to the training. Do you think things are getting faster? Are they getting slower? Are your legs feeling heavy? And actually paying a lot of attention to that feedback, because when you're on your own, you've got the opportunity to make those calls. It's not dictated by someone else.
And more control.
That's right. So you really should take those opportunities to pay a lot of attention to your recovery and your overall fatigue status, because those are when you can do things like either not push yourself hard enough and not get the benefit out of it, or more commonly, if you're anyway like me, push yourself too hard and then you start to break down with things like non-functional overreaching, overtraining, or overuse injuries.
Yep, correct. Thanks, Mac.